Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. Starting off, I am just showing you this client. She came in for a refill slash redesign. Her set, I will link in the cards, and as you can see, after 3 weeks, they look great. It was very, very minimal lifting. Some had no lifting at all. But I'm getting started with showing you how I'm prepping for her next set. So she came in and I saw this thing on Instagram and I was like, I want to try it. I knew I wanted to use the color blue on her, so I got my palette out. I am going to be mixing up some custom colors. So that main blue color gel polish from iGel Beauty you saw is called Electric Blue. And I wanted to have a gradient of different blue colors, but didn't have a ton of gel polishes. So one cool way to remedy that was to get my white gel polish and my black gel polish and just kind of mix and go. So as you can see, I put a significant amount of black on the most leftist, I don't know what you mean, you know what I mean? Like counterclockwise, maybe that would be like 9 o'clock bit of gel polish right there. So I added a lot of the black. And then I'm going to be mixing black into the second amount. Then the next color will be a solid blue. I'll mix some white, the ones towards the right, and then I think I'll end with white gel polish. But yeah, I'm just mixing these colors really lightly. This design that I saw on Instagram is really, really cool. You basically draw, I guess, like French cut designs with acrylic, and then you paint it on with gel polish and then clear cap that design and then continue with other colors. So you kind of get a gradient French cut, which I thought was really cool. And since we were using blue, I was like, all right, let's do this with the gradient. So yeah, I'm just mixing up the colors. I'm using the ball point of a dotting tool just to mix it up. I actually didn't plan on using that. It's just this brush set I talk about all the time. I got it from Amazon. It comes with the liner brush on one side and then a dotting tool on the other. And this just happens to be the dotting tool of the brush that I decided to use. So I am mixing an additional light blue. As you can see, I'm mixing another one. I don't end up actually using this because we didn't have enough length to have all of the colors there, but because I wanted the white on the tip, but you can use as little or as many colors as you want. I was talking to her and I was like, I think I might want to do this in like a chevron herringbone kind of pattern. I think that would be really cool, or like with a mermaid set, that would be really cool. But yeah, this set is really, really nice. I've seen it done a few times and I was excited to get started. So as you can see from that one blue gel polish, I've got 6 colors on my palette that are just really, really cool, and we have a nice blue gradient. So I went in and removed her previous set. I have a video on how I like to remove my clients' sets when they come in for a redesign slash refill. And now we're just prepping like I normally do. So I went in, you can see there's a little bit of remnant of colored acrylic from her previous sets, no biggie. I just went in and removed down as much as I wanted to. I didn't have to, remove too much because I knew we were going in with a darker color. But if you are gonna, use the same tips and you have a colored acrylic on there, just file down to that clear acrylic layer or to the tip, and then you'll be good to go. So I'm just prepping like I normally do, Mia's Secret Dehydrator Primer, and then a thin coat of the Young Nails Protein Bond. After that, I'm using the Young Nails Monomer and the Young Nails Core Clear to just give her backfill. So this is what I'm air quoting as her fill-in. So this is covering the natural nail that has grown out over the 3+ weeks that she had her previous set. It takes me maybe a minute or 2 to do her hands, and I'm just using that small bead of acrylic there to fix the shape of one of the tips. I kind of filed in a little too deep, just, sculpting that. But yeah, it doesn't take long. I use more of a drier bead. I try to ensure that I don't flood the cuticle or sidewall area because this is basically the foundation of the extension that they're coming to get. You don't want it to be flooding from the beginning because then when you add the colored acrylic and the design, it's not gonna, last. So I just try to make sure just to cover that natural nail, and then we can build our design from there. To get started, we are working on our French design. So I'm going in with the sugar and cream color. It is called Bearless, and it's a really, really nice, soft, it's like a semi-sheer kind of nude nail plate kind of color. And I'm applying a bead a little bit lower than the cuticle, and I'm going to be kind of massaging the product into a V French line. So as you can see, I'm wiping my brush off on the piece of napkin and just kind of pushing that product towards a point towards the middle of the nail. I don't mind that, you know, the free edge of her nail is showing on the sides because we will cover that up. I am just focused on trying to get the point in the middle of the tip. You don't want it to be like angled off to the side. One thing that I like to do when applying tips and doing this in general is to look at the knuckles of the nail. Some people have crooked fingers. I'm one of those some people. She is me. This client does have a few crooked fingers as well. So to make sure that I'm applying the tips and things like this, the French correctly and straight down, it's just best to look at the two knuckles to be like, all right, I'm just going to follow that line because the fingertip might go to the right or to the left. So that's just what I try to do. And as you can see, I am just using the brush to kind of mold the product where I want it to be. I'm going to do the same thing on this next finger. On to the rest of the set. We are using this custom color acrylic that I made a few months ago for another client. It is a glow in the dark and it's a mix of chalk pastels and other blue acrylics. It has some clear, I think the base clear is Young Nails Core Clear, and I have some mica powder in there. I've got glow in the dark pigment. It's a whole bunch of stuff in this acrylic. It's a nice royal, kind of darker than royal blue. I just thought it would be really impactful and cool with this set, and it really, really glows. It glows kind of like a turquoise blue-green, and it's funny because she went to the bathroom and I could hear her like, oh my god, in the bathroom, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, my nails are glowing. I'm like, yeah, I told you they would. So that's always a fun addition. I love when nails glow in the dark because it's always like a fun surprise and you forget every single time. So I'm just doing a normal application on all of the nails that I did not do the French on. It's a very, very simple set. The magic of this set is going to be on those two French nails. So I am just doing a normal application, trying to just make sure, because this color is significantly darker and full on, I'm going to try my best not to flood the cuticle and sidewall areas. And I'm just going to try and build up maybe 50% of the nail structure. And I am going to clear cap these nails as well, but just making sure to apply a nice even coat of this custom acrylic. Now that we've got our base color blue on, I'm going in with the hand file and I'm just making sure to make these French V-line cuts very crisp. This is not something that I am wont to do. Usually I'm just more on the lazy side. I'll cut out with a nail tip, or I'll just, you know, kind of move the product around with a brush, and sometimes that's fine, but I really wanted this set to be nice and sharp. So I'm just using that nail file to kind of crispen up this V-line, and then we're gonna get to the fun stuff in a sec. I'm just using some young nail swipe on and a manicure brush to clean off her nails. I did hand file to make this sharper, so I don't want any debris on there, especially since we're going to be doing some hand painting. With gel paint, we want a nice smooth surface. So to start, we're going from dark to light, from the French cut to the tip of the nail. I'm taking that darkest color and a thin liner brush, and I am just lining that French line to begin with. I did file it, so it's pretty sharp. And then I'm going to be careful and kind of thicken up the line just a tad. So we have a few colors. You don't want to make it so thick. I mean, if you do, sure, but I hoped to be able to get all 6 of these colors on there. I was only able to get 5, but I figured this was a good enough thickness. I will suggest, because I didn't at first when I was doing this, doing 2 coats of this. So I apply the gel polish, and then I have her cure for 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna apply a bead of clear acrylic over just that gel polish section. Because the gel polish is a little bit on the thinner side, it's not thick like a gel paint. We did have some areas where it wasn't as pigmented. Eventually I started doing 2 coats, but the first, I think, 2 colors that I apply didn't have 2 coats, so you could kind of see through it. That's something that I would just suggest in hindsight. Apply two coats of your gel polish. This does take a very long time to accomplish, just because you have to be careful, and you're basically applying acrylic slowly to each layer. You have to cure in between each one, so just, you know, be cautious of that, but it is so worth it. I think it came out so freaking cool. So like I said, I'm applying clear acrylic just to that blue gel polish that I just added, and I'm just going to use my brush to constantly push that product back over the edge and make sure that there's no clear acrylic past that line. And I'm trying to use drier beads so that we don't get a lot of running. You'll see I just use my brush to kind of swipe away the excess, and then, you know, just make sure as it's curing that I push the product back over that blue layer. We're going to repeat the same process, painting and then clear capping, for the rest of the nail and the rest of the colors that I custom mixed. Alright, so next I have the next lighter color. I am doing the same thing, lining out that free edge and then making the line slightly thicker. This is the second coat that I ended up not doubling in terms of the gel polish, so it's a little bit sheerer than we would prefer. I would just suggest taking your time with these V-lines because you want them to be really crisp. If you get the line not, you know, clean, it will show through because you're encapsulating what you did. So I would just say, just take your time. If you make a mistake, wipe it off and go again. That's the beautiful thing about gel polish. It's non-committal. But yeah, I'm doing the same thing, and then I'm going to clear cap this line as well. Next, we are going in with the bright original blue color. It's called Electric Blue from iGel Beauty. I'm just using that. And at this point, you could kind of see the gradient happening, and we were both excited. And I was just kind of like, girl, this is gonna be so cute. And it kind of was. So I'm just also going in the same way, being very, very careful with the painting, making sure to get the nice point on the chevron. One thing I would suggest also in hindsight is to file after every clear cap layer. I didn't do that because the laziness was, setting in at this point. And remember, I had to do this on the other hand as well. I can't imagine having done this on all 10 fingers. Can you imagine? The client would be there for like 10 days. But yeah, that's one thing that I would do. I would file just to make sure that it's extra crisp. But I just felt like it was okay with the way that I was cleaning off the excess with my brush. It would be perfect, I guess, more perfect if I filed, but in the future, maybe if I try this again, I will definitely try and file and see if there's a big difference that way. So at this point, we were looking and we were just kind of like, we're not sure if we're gonna be able to get both of those lighter blues in there. It was not a big deal. There wasn't a big difference between the blue that I'm using now and the white. So we just decided to skip the second light blue and then just go for the white. So it's the same process, paint. I'm doing 2 coats. I'm not including that in the video for all of them, but have her cure for 30 seconds, then apply another coat of the gel polish just so you get enough pigment, have her cure again, and then you can go in with your clear acrylic and then encapsulate just that blue piece. If you get any acrylic on the clear layer, just, swipe it away just like that, and make sure that the product stays over the polish and not anywhere else. And finally, I am just going in with that straight white gel polish. This is Baby Powder by iGel Beauty. I use it a ton. It's nice and pigmented, and we are just going to finish off this chevron French tip. So because I had gone in with so many layers of that acrylic, I am just using an extra fine bit to kind of smooth out that nail. It still needs to be built up structure wise, but I didn't want to apply that clear cap on top of it. It was just a little bit messy, and there might have been polish over some areas that I wanted clean. So I'm just going in and cleaning off the nails anywhere so that until I see a very crisp line of the gel polish. And I think that this helped for sure. I am gonna have to clear cap, like I said, because when I was applying the clear acrylic to those gel polish layers, I wasn't focusing on building up a thick amount of product. I was just focused on covering the gel polish. So that's basically what's happening here. I'm not really focused on the nail bed part of the nude color, just cleaning up the chevron area until we get very, very crisp lines. And then back to the regularly scheduled programming. I am just going to be clear capping all of the nails as normal, nothing crazy. There's a lot of pigment in the blue. It's a custom mix, and I know that there's not a ton of acrylic in there, so it's probably not a strong core color. So I'm just clear capping for strength. We don't want any issues with these nails. We want them to last and be beautiful like the previous set. Check that out because it was a great video. Yeah, nothing crazy. And for the chevron nails, I am just going to be focusing the clear acrylic on the chevron area and just to build up the apex a little bit, but I'm not going to be building up too much on these nails. I'm going in with a narrow carbide bit. This is a fine, it's not a safety. As you can see, the top is nice and sharp. I was digging it and I'm using it, as you can see, to clear up some product on the cuticle area and around her sidewalls, and basically just to smooth out the surface of the nail. I love that it's narrow. It just feels lighter in the hand, and I'm low-key using my e-file to kind of shape the nails on the side too. That's been fun. But yeah, I'm just smoothing out the surface of the nail before hand filing. And now that the nails are smooth, I'm going in with my hand file just to refine the shape. So the nails are nice and smooth. There's no scratches or ridges in the nail. I'm just now going to make it crisp. Remember, she's had these tips on for a while now. It's maybe 3 or 4 sets with this same tips on some of these fingers. And I am just going to make them nice and crisp, like this chevron one. It was so important for me for them to be beautifully tapered, squared, nothing, you know, wonky, and they came out so gorgeous. I just think it also helps with the illusion of having that really nice centered chevron pattern. It was just really, really cool. So nothing crazy. I'm just filing the side walls and that free edge in that up and down manner just to get a nice sharp shape. So I'm going in with a buffing block, and I just wanted to make sure that the nails were uber smooth on the top and the bottom. We did a lot of carving and acrylic work. I just wanted to make sure that these were really, really great for the gel top application. Afterwards, I'm going to spray her down with some more Young Nail Swipe and then use a manicure brush to clean the nails of any dirt or debris that might be on there, any dust from the filing. And as you can see, you're getting a little bit of a show of what the nails look like. The ombre looks so cool, but they don't come to life until you gel top them. I said gel top coat them with a glossy top coat. So the ombre chevron looks really, really cool like that. I think it would be really nice to have a full set of it, but you don't really get the magic until you top coat. So beforehand, I am adding some silver charms with my Zule bling adhesive. You can't really see it, but I'm adding a medium sized one and a tiny one right in front of it, just to add a little bit of hint of silver on this set. I'm applying it to the pinky and the thumb on the outer parts of her hand, like towards the outer part of her hand. Then I'm going to glossy top coat all of her fingers. So I'm using the Beetles Glossy Top Coat. I'm going over those charms. I just want them to not be an issue for the client. And then on this finger, you will see the magic happening. I don't know why, but when you apply that top coat, you really get to see all of the separations in that acrylic, and it just kind of looks like jelly. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it gives a jelly effect. It's really freaking cool. I was enjoying it at that point. But you get this really, really cool, like broken, it's like having stacks of jello on each other in different colors. I don't know how to describe it, but the separations from that acrylic definitely do something that you wouldn't see if it wasn't there. So I'm applying this glossy top coat to all 5 of her fingers, and then I'm going to have her cure for a full minute. And because I wasn't done, I am using a diamond pointy bit, I guess. I have my e-file at about 30,000 RPM, and I am just poking some holes in the sides of her nail towards the outer point of her nail, like where her pinky is, that direction on each hand, so the outer part. And I'm applying 2 holes in the nail. All you have to do is hold onto the finger in a steady manner. I had her place her hand on a holder just to keep it steady, and I am squeezing the finger very, very tightly just to get the holes through. You don't have to do too much work because the e-file is up high and there's a bit on it that's just going to go right through. So you just take your time and the bit kind of just shoots through the nail. And we are applying some silver jump rings. So you see I got my tools out and how simple it was just to get it on. So you don't want to open the ring all the way till it's like a U shape. You will like misform the jump ring. You kind of want to open it just enough to get into the nail and then close it back without warping it. Sometimes I open the rings a little bit too much and then you get like a weird shape and then they don't close back in a perfect circle, but it was okay on this one. You see me struggling. Sometimes it's easier to go from the bottom than it is from the top. Sometimes it's easier to go from the top. Just get it on there, you know, and then close it. Sometimes you can use a finger and like that. Other times you would just use 2 sets of pliers. And just to secure these jump rings on her nail, I'm taking the Zule Bling adhesive and applying it to the connecting pieces. I'm gonna spray her down with some quick spray, and then this set is finished. Check it out. I think they came out so cool. It took forever to do that French cut line, and as you can see, it looks like stacked jelly. I don't know, it's really cool. I hope you like this video. Like it for the hard work, and for the blue, it does glow in the dark too, so that's fun. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.